The rain poured over downtown Chicago that morning, a curtain of silver falling from a gray sky. People hurried under umbrellas, taxis splashed through puddles, and the city's heartbeat thumped beneath the storm. Ethan Miller, 28, hunched under his coat, hurrying toward the corner coffee shop. His briefcase bumped against his leg, his phone buzzing with reminders of deadlines and meetings. He was a marketing executive, well-paid but emotionally drained. Life had become a blur of presentations and the dull glow of computer screens. That morning, waiting at a crosswalk, something broke his rhythm. Across the street stood a boy, maybe 7 years old, shivering and barefoot. He clutched a torn paper bag, his jeans too short, his sweatshirt soaked through. His small toes pressed against the wet, cold pavement. Ethan followed the boy's gaze to a shoe store window, filled with shiny, colorful sneakers. The boy stared at one pair in particular, bright blue with white stripes, his lips moving as if whispering to them. People rushed past, ignoring him. Some glanced once and looked away. Others swerved around him, annoyed. But the boy didn't move. He just kept staring at those shoes. Ethan hesitated. He was already late. He could ignore this, just like everyone else. But something about that kid, the quiet desperation in his eyes, made Ethan stop. He sighed, checked the traffic, and crossed the street. "Hey, buddy," he said, crouching to meet the boy's gaze. "You okay?" The boy startled, clutching his paper bag tighter. I just wanted to see how much those shoes cost," he said softly. Ethan looked at the tag. $39.99. For him, that was one quick lunch. But for the boy, it was clearly out of reach. "You like them?" Ethan asked gently. The boy nodded. "They look fast, like I could run really far." Ethan smiled faintly. "You want to run far, huh? You play sports?" The boy shook his head. "No, sir. I just run home from school. It's a long walk." Ethan's heart tightened. "Where's your mom or dad?" The boy's face fell. "Mom's sick. She stays home most days." Ethan took a long time ago. Ethan took a slow breath. He'd grown up poor himself, not this poor, but enough to remember what it felt like to want something you knew you couldn't have. He stood up, walked into the store, and bought the blue sneakers along with a pack of socks. When he came back out, the boy was still there, rain dripping from his hair. "Let's see if these fit," Ethan said, kneeling. The boy blinked, confused. "For me." Ethan nodded. "For you. Every runner needs good shoes." The boy's lower lip trembled as he sat on the step and slipped them on. A perfect fit. He stared at his feet, flexing his toes in disbelief. "They fit," he whispered. "They really fit." "What's your name, champ?" Ethan asked. "Liam," the boy said. "Liam Carter?" "Well, Liam Carter," Ethan said, patting his shoulder. "You keep helping your mom, okay? And one day, when you're older, do something kind for someone else." "Deal." Liam nodded fiercely, his eyes shining through the rain. "Deal." Ethan smiled and walked away, not realizing that moment would echo back to him many years later. 15 years passed. Chicago had changed, but Ethan still loved the skyline from his office window. He was no longer a tired marketing executive, but the CEO of a successful tech company he'd built from the ground up. He donated to shelters and funded youth programs, but sometimes he felt a quiet emptiness. Success didn't fill the space that kindness once did. He often thought back to that rainy morning, the look on that little boy's face, and the feeling that he'd made a real difference. That day his assistant knocked. "Sir, the candidates for the junior developer position are waiting. Should I send in the next one?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, please." "Who's next?" "Liam Carter," she replied. The name tugged at his memory, but he brushed it off. A coincidence, he thought. The door opened, and a young man walked in neatly dressed, confident but humble. Ethan stood, shaking his hand. "Good to meet you, Liam. Please sit." "Thank you, sir," Liam said. "It's an honor to be here." They discussed projects and goals, but what caught Ethan's attention was the young man's attitude. He spoke about teamwork, helping others, and building something meaningful. Near the end, Ethan asked, "What drives you, Liam?" Liam smiled softly. "Honestly, sir. Kindness. Someone once showed me kindness when I didn't deserve it. It changed my life." Ethan leaned forward. Kindness. Liam nodded. Yeah, I grew up with just my mom. She was sick, and we didn't have much. When I was about 7, I met a man downtown. It was raining hard. I was barefoot, staring at some shoes I couldn't afford. He'd bought them for me, bright blue ones. I never forgot him. That moment made me want to become someone he'd be proud of. Ethan froze. He looked at the young man closely, the familiar eyes, the shape of his smile. Could it be? Shoes? Ethan whispered, his voice catching. Blue ones? Liam chuckled. Yeah, blue with white stripes. I wore them until they fell apart. Ethan sat back, overwhelmed, smiled faintly and said, Well, maybe today you can finally thank him. Liam blinked. What do you mean? Ethan's voice softened. That man. It was me. Silence filled the room. Liam stared, disbelief in his eyes. You? He breathed. Ethan nodded. I remember that day. You were standing outside that shoe store, holding a paper bag. Liam's voice broke. Sir, I don't know what to say. You changed my life. I studied hard because of you. I wanted to be like the man who didn't walk away. Ethan stood and walked around the desk. You already are, Liam. He extended his hand again, this time with quiet pride. Welcome to the team, he said. It looks like life brought us full circle. When Liam left, Ethan stood by the window, watching him walk down the hall. He could see the boy from years ago, small and barefoot now, walking tall, full of purpose. He thought of all the small moments people dismiss, holding a door, sharing a meal. Sometimes those small choices echo louder than we imagine. That night, Ethan stopped by the same street corner. The store was now a bakery glowing warmly. The rain had started again, gentle and familiar. Stood there for a while, smiling, thinking about his younger self, the man who had been in a hurry but stopped anyway. A small act of kindness had come back to him, a living reminder that goodness never fades. As he turned to leave, he noticed a little girl, her nose pressed against the glass, staring at a cupcake. Ethan chuckled softly, walked in, and bought it for her. When he handed it to her, she beamed, just like Liam had years ago. And in that moment, under the rain, Ethan realized something profound. Kindness is a circle that never breaks. He looked up at the sky, whispering, maybe this is how the world gets better, and a small act at a time. Thank you for watching. Remember that a simple act of kindness can change a life. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. See you next time.